incredibly difficult conversation. I can't even imagine. As an investor, that's the last thing you want to hear. But as you mentioned, you still negotiated it in a way where, okay, you gave up a little bit more of what you did, but your reputation was still intact and that deal was still intact, which is massively important. Whilst we're on the sort of topic of raising finance, what sort of ways do you raise it? So obviously investors is one. Is there any other forms of finance that you use to raise?
So when it comes to other people's money is kind of the banner I put it under. I tend to use two techniques personally. One is a straightforward loan and the other one is a joint venture, a pure sharing of risk and reward. For many reasons, some I can talk about now is for loans, I tend to have a minimum of £50,000 if someone's investing with me in a deal. So it's a fixed amount of money for a fixed period of time for a fixed return. The FCA don't beat you up over that stuff. It's very straightforward. Their take on it is most of the population understand what a loan is. And so there's nothing complex about that. There's no kind of complex investment instrument here, as it were. But with joint ventures, it's a completely different thing. Joint ventures is you're sharing risk and reward, and people don't always understand risks that are involved in a transaction. So these days, when I'm doing joint ventures, it tend to be £350,000 and above for a couple of reasons. One is because primarily I want to only have high net worth individuals. So from an FCA point of view as well, it means I'm dealing with high net worth. And secondly, it's not their life savings that's in that project. If they have a significant amount of money, they're putting a certain amount of money, it's still a significant amount of money, but in proportion to their wealth, it's much smaller. And it also, they tend to understand risk a little bit better. Now, my job is to mitigate the risk as much as I possibly can, but there is always risk. And I've never been in a situation where we've lost significant amounts of money, and hopefully I'll never be in that situation. But could it happen? Yeah, I mean, nobody expected Corona to happen this year. Anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? God forbid I could be hit by a bus walking home and I could be incapacitated, not dead, but unable to function. What happens in that situation? So it's thinking through, how do you deal with that? Fortunately, I have some measures in place that, it wouldn't be the same, but things would continue and be able to complete. But you just have to think that actually there are risks involved. How do you deal with those risks? So fully understanding risk, I think, is important. I think a lot of people are just wash over the risks. I grew up in the 80s and good old Del Boy on TV was one of my favourite shows, and said, this time next year, Rodney, we're going to be millionaires. It's like every week it was the same, this time next year, because it was always about the upside. It was not about what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong. It was always about the upside. And when we focus on the upside, we become blind to the downside. We really have to understand downside. And as I said earlier on, I'm obsessive when it comes to other people's money because, I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that this is going to work, they're going to make money, they're going to get their money back. Yeah,
it's probably a good feeling as well when a project is complete and you're able to sort of go follow through on your word. You make a bit of money, they make a bit of money, both parties happy, and they'll probably rush to invest with you again.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, sometimes people invest again and again, other time people invest once and they want to move on to other things. Sometimes people invest because they want to learn how something happens so they can go and do it for themselves as well. And this is part of when you're doing your due diligence on your investor. What is it that they ultimately want? Why is it? Don't make the assumption everybody's investing just because they want to make money. Yeah. Do you see? Yeah. We all want to make money, but that may not be the primary reason. It might be because there's something about you that you're doing that they're comfortable with, they're keen to learn from you. And if they're open about that and you take the time to understand that, you can make sure that you deliver on that.